ॐ दक्षिणस्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्णपाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टारमीश्वरं व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्। So now we have come to the Nididhyasana Angani. Here Bhagwan Shankaracharya talks about different angas or different ways in which Brahman can be contemplated upon. What is the meaning of Brahman? Aham Brahmasmi. I as that Brahman, I as that consciousness Brahman, I can contemplate upon in various ways. And how do I contemplate upon it? Bhagwan Shankaracharya gives me 15 angas. And we have been seeing for the last two sessions as to what is the meaning of those angas. Angas means the different aspects or different parts of a particular system. And in Ashtanga Yoga, there are 8 angas or there are 8 components of that yoga. And we have already enumerated that. But here in Aparokshanubhuti, Bhagwan Shankaracharya not only takes up those 8 angas or the 8 aspects or the 8 components of this yoga as Nididhyasana yoga, as Nididhyasana or Dhyana. Nididhyasanam is also called Dhyanam. We saw that in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Dhyana yoga it is called. Here in 6th chapter, what Bhagavan Krishna talks about is Nididhyasanam or contemplation on that knowledge of my reality, that is Aham Brahmasmi, that reality upon which I contemplate again and again and again, muhur muhuhu. For what purpose? To assimilate this knowledge, to make this knowledge absolutely spontaneously available to me. I don't have to search for this knowledge. I don't have to say, wait a minute, I'll think whether I'm Brahman or not. I don't have to think. Like supposing someone asks me, what is your name? I don't have to say, wait, I'll think and tell you. No. This knowledge, who I am, what my name is something which is so spontaneously available to me that I don't have to think. It is available to me. It is there all the time. I may not keep on remembering it that I am so and so, I am so and so. I may not keep on remembering it. But then when it is needed, it is spontaneously available to me. Similarly, what is said is, Aham Brahmasmi is that knowledge which should become spontaneously available to me. I need not think of it all the time, but it is spontaneously available to me in and through every transaction. And for that to happen, that is sada samadhim kuryat. All the time I am in that samadhi. Samadhi means what? In that knowledge, all the time, that Aham Brahmasmi, in and through all transactions. Nothing disturbs my understanding that I am that Brahman. And this is what is called as Jnana Nishtha. And for this Jnana Nishtha to happen, I have to go through a process of contemplating upon it initially, exclusively in a sitting meditation, where I take one of the aspects of the Vedantic truths that I have learned, I have heard from the Guru, made that particular knowledge without any doubts, doubtless knowledge, but that which I need to contemplate and make it absolutely something which is, available to me spontaneously, assimilated knowledge. So, what here Shankaracharya is talking about is that sitting meditation or nididhyasanam, which Bhagwan Krishna very, very deeply discusses in chapter number 6 in Bhagavad Gita. So now we saw a few angas. What are the angas we saw? We saw yama, we saw niyama, and we saw what is, called as the sajatiya, vijatiya, niyama, yama. Niyama, we thought that then tyagaha or vairagyam. And then we talked about maunam. And three different types of maunam were talked about. The vak indriya vyavahara maunam, or that where the vak indriya vyavahara varjanam, which is called as maunam, he says is only meant for beginners to develop sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Actual maunam is that where if I am Brahman, I have understood it very clearly. It is that Brahman or consciousness in which there is absolutely no disturbance or no sound. It is that silent center that I am. Maunam. So here Maunam, the meaning, the first meaning of Maunam given in 107th verse is that Brahman itself is Maunam. I have to contemplate upon the fact that I am that silent, disturbanceless, soundless Brahman. Secondly, in the 108th verse, he said, all right, I am that silent, noiseless, soundless consciousness Brahman. Then what about this world in which I am hearing so much of noise? My vyavahara with the world is making so much of noise. The world is so full of noise and sound. How do you say that this world, how do you explain this world? And Bhagwan Shankaracharya says, even the world can be taken as another meaning for Maunam, because though there is a lot of sound and lot of activity in the world, but this is something which cannot be explained as is or as is not. This Jagat being anirvachaniyam, it is as good as I cannot speak anything about it. Therefore, it is Maunam only. So when somebody asks you, what do you think about something, which you know is either way it can be argued. Whatever you say, you can be right or you can be wrong. In such a situation, what do? We keep quiet, silent. So Jagat is also like that. Is it there? If I really look at it, Paramarthikataya, absolute truth-wise, absolutely it is not there. It is not the Satyam at all. But then it is there. How do you say it's not there? I am experiencing it solidly. Yes, it's an experiential reality. It is there, yet it is not really there. If it is not there, but yet it is experienced. So this which is called as anirvachaniyam, sat asadbhyam anirvachaniyam. It is neither the truth nor the absence. It is somewhere in between. Sat asadbhyam anirvachaniyam jagat. What does it deserve? It deserves maunam only. I can't describe it. It's like saying, describe the reflection. What's there to describe the reflection? It is as good or as the original is. So I'm silent about it. Will anybody ask me to talk about my reflection? Will anybody ask me to talk or give a treatise on my shadow? No. So, what does it mean? Just like these two things, even the world does not deserve any kind of a description, and therefore, this Maya or the projected world of Maya is anirvachaniyam. This knowledge itself is maunam. Very, very different way of Acharya explaining this. We would never have thought of that. He's not explaining all these, as sadhanas for developing, the capacity to develop nididhyasanam. No. He's saying that every anga that we are talking about out of the 15 angas, let us contemplate upon every anga as Brahman. Every component of this nididhyasanam is Brahman. That means in Brahman, there are no 15 components. Even though I'm taking this 15 as the angas, each and every anga is representative of Brahman itself, Atma itself. That is what we will see throughout now. In the next two verses, 110 and 111, Bhagwan Shankaracharya talks about what now? He talks about Desha and Kala. I'm taking these two verses together. I started introducing it in the last session, but we can take these two verses together as Desha and Kala. So, in our usual meditation practices in sitting nididhyasanam, even in Dhyana Yoga in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan talks about selecting a Vijana Desha, selecting an isolated place, a place where I am not disturbed by anything. My intellect, my mind is not drawn by something else. This is what is called as the Vijana Desha. That is only initial. Initially, when my mind keeps on running here and there, if I sit in the middle of a marketplace, I cannot meditate. I cannot have nididhyasana. So initially, I am asked to sit in a place which is conducive, which is not going to cause me any kind of a disturbance physically or mentally, or I'm not disturbed by other people and sounds. So choose a Vijana Desha, a place which is without, which does not have any crowd or any other beings there to disturb me. Vijana Desha. Out of the Desha, this is talked about like this. Then what is the Kala? Kala means what is the time? What is the time at which I, have to sit for this? Actually speaking, there is really no time really as for Nididhyasanam. But we are still told that early morning, either in the Brahma Muhurtam or as soon as you get up after a refreshed sleep, you sit in one place, a place which is not having too much disturbances. And early morning, as soon as you wake up, you're not disturbed by many other thoughts. So the Kala is also conducive to you. So Desha being conducive, Kala being conducive is only an initial, advice given by the gurus so that the mind is calm, at peace, at rest to go through this process of contemplation on Vedantic truths. But then, Kala is not something that I have to wait for, that only between this time and this time I will do the meditation, I will do the dhyanam, I'll do the nididhyasanam. No. If you remember, our Swamiji always says, Smaranam, Dhyanam is okay for say 20 minutes, one mala, two mala, whatever you're doing. But it should be there constantly, that Anusmaranam should be there constantly in one's mind. This is what has to happen. Initially, Nididhyasanam, maybe a sitting Nididhyasana, in a conducive place, at a conducive time, to help my mind to focus and concentrate upon the particular Vedantic truth that I'm going to take up that day for my contemplation. But then, Kala should not be a hindrance. This Nididhyasanam should be there all the time. This is what is talked about as method of Nididhyasanam with Desha and Kala. But Bhagwan Shankaracharya wants to explain this Desha and Kala also as Brahman only. Why? It is Desha and Kala are nothing but those which appear in Brahman. If you remember Dakshinamurti Stotram, Maya kalpita desha kala kalana vaichitrya chitrikritam. It is the desha, kala, kalana, the space, time, and causality are projected by Maya in Brahman. That means in Brahman, kala also exists. That kala means that time, the relative time that we are looking for. This is what Brahman, kalatitaha, nityaha, in which this measured time of ours exists. Deshatitaha or sarvagataha, in which everything exists. Therefore, Bhagwan Shankaracharya says, Desha and Kala initially can be taken as, instruments or those which help me as sadhanas to attain this quietness of mind. But I have to understand that ultimately Desha and Kala are nothing but Brahman, because Desha exists in Brahman. Without Brahman, there is no Desha. Without Brahman, there is no Kala. Therefore, when you are looking at a particular place, Desha, may you contemplate that this is nothing but Brahman. Everywhere there is Brahman. Sarvam khalvidam Brahman. Whatever space I'm seeing, the space is a product of Brahman. Kala is a product of Brahman. And Desha and Kala cannot exist without each other. Wherever we think of Desha, Kala should be there. Space and time are two coordinates in the Vyavaharika Prapancha which cannot exist without each other. But what is Brahman? It is Desha Atita, Kala Atita. That in which all our measurable time exists, all our measurable or the immeasurable universe we talk about, that it is said that universe cannot be measured. Even then, it is something which is in Brahman. Even that immeasurable infinite universe we think of is not infinite, it is finite. The kalam, though we think of, though we talk about kalpas of millions and millions of years, that also is limited. What is that unlimited thing which is beyond Desha and Kala, in which Desha and Kala exist? That is Brahman. So, may you contemplate upon space nothing but as Brahman, Kala or time also as nothing but a manifestation of Brahman. That's what he says in the 110th and 111th verse. So, let's go to the 110th. आदावन्ते च मध्ये च जनो यस्मिन्न विद्यते येनेदं सततं व्याप्तं सदेशो विजनस्मृतः. So, आदौ अन्ते च मध्ये च. Either in the beginning or in the middle or at the end. That in which no being really exists. And that means what? It is there in the Brahman, but at the same time, we cannot say that in Brahman is this Desha. No, Brahman is Desha, no doubt. But then, whatever Desha or space we think of, with the people in it, Vijana, it belongs to the relative realm of the space. But Brahman is that in which, really speaking, no existence or it is mere appearance of the universe, and people in the universe is a mere appearance in Brahman. That's why Krishna said, Matsthani sarva bhutani. In me, all the bhutas are there. Immediately he says, Nacha matsthani bhutani. Though all the universes, all the beings are as though existing in me, they are really not in me, but they are merely projected by Maya in me. Similarly, he says, never ever, like before this world appeared, there were no people. When this Deshakala appeared, slowly the existence of the beings, various beings, living beings started. At the end of Pralaya, again, all the living beings disappeared into an unmanifest form. But really speaking, this unmanifest jana and universe manifesting itself, going back to unmanifest form, is a mere projection of Maya. In me, the Atma, I am the mere Sakshi Chaitanya Atma. In me, this Prakriti or Maya projects this universe with the people in it, with jivas in it. Therefore, Adav Antecha Madhyecha Jano Yasmin na Vidyate. Okay, so there is really, I am pervading this entire universe. And though before this universe existed, also I was there, Desha. This before this Desha existed, started manifesting itself, then also I was there, Atma. In the middle, when the Desha was there with all its jivas, also I was there. Ante, at the end of the creation, when all the jivas got resolved, or that resolution or laya pralaya in me, in the prakriti maya, then also I was there. So all the deshas, all the janas, though they appear in me, I am in no way affected by them. Therefore, if you think of or contemplate upon me as the Vijana Atma, then it does not matter where you sit. You may still sit in the middle of the marketplace. Still, you know that Aham Vijana Atma. All those people who are there in my mind all the time, I'm carrying all these so many people, I'm carrying them in my mind. My relatives, all my mamakara about people around me. What am I doing? I'm not carrying them in me. They are not in me. I'm only carrying them in my mind. Wherever I go, I carry all those people around me in my mind. But I, the Atma, is free ever. Therefore, the real Vijana Desha is I, the Atma itself. Getting, focusing, concentrating on me, the Atma Chaitanyam, that is the only Vijana Desha. That is only the Desha or that place which is really without any kind of a disturbance, without any lokas disturbing, without any people disturbing. My specific nature, my real nature as Atma is I am Vijana. So, what am I looking for in Vijana Desha? Without any people, I'm looking for a place. What am I looking for? It is only for my mind, for my intellect. I want to be in a place which is quiet and undisturbed. But I am the very center of all quietness, all peace, and in me, the Atma, really no people are existing. All those disturbing people and situations are in my mind. They are not in me, Atma. Therefore, yena idam satatam vyaptam sadesho vijana smritaha. That I, which is all pervading, occupying everything, is actually speaking without any disturbing influence of any jiva. Yes, I am there everywhere. I pervade everything, but nothing is there in me to disturb me because it's mere appearance in me. It is really not in me, not a part of me. It is a mere projection in me. Therefore, none of the even crowded places cannot really affect me. This is as far as a very serious nididhyasaka is concerned. But for people like us who have done enough shravanam and mananam, and where we want to really, assimilate this knowledge for us as a sadhana for attaining that silence, to facilitate the mind and the intellect to concentrate, focus, it is necessary. Yes, Vijana Pradesha. Find a quiet place. without the influence of any sounds or yes, it is there. But here Bhagwan Shankaracharya is talking about the ultimate truth, where he says that my very nature as Atma is Vijana Desha. So, is it necessary for you to look for some place without anybody? Because you cannot find a place without me, the Atma. I am everywhere there. Then what am I looking for? Why am I looking for a Vijana Desha? So, I, the Atma, is the silent center, the best Vijana Desha I can, abiding in myself. Let there be any amount of noise outside. I'm quiet because I'm abiding in my Vijana Desha Atma itself. Then he goes to the Kala, 111. कलनात् सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्मादीनां निमेषतः कालशब्देन निर्दिष्टः आनन्द अद्वयः. So Kala means what? That in which changes happen, things start manifesting. When when things started manifesting, when this jagat in an unmanifest form appeared or manifested, it started with deshakala kalana. So kalanat sarva bhutanam brahmadinam nimeshatah. So when did kala start? Brahmadinam sarva bhutanam. Okay, sarva bhuta from Brahma onwards started when the Jagat was being projected, and the very first things which appeared were space and time, Maya Kalpita Deshakala Kalana Vaichitre Chitrikritam. Okay, so he says, Kala Shabdena Nirdishtaha. But what is the meaning of Kala here? Kalasya Kala Aham Asmi, Brahma. Kalasya Kala. When you look at the story of Markandeya, what does it mean? When he embraces the Shivalinga, it says that death doesn't come to me. Doesn't it's a symbolic thing we have to understand. That means what? When I'm abiding in the Atma Tattvam, this so-called repeated births and death cycles I escape from. Therefore, he says, Kala Shabdena Nirdishtaha. What is the actual Nirdesha? What is the actual meaning of Kala? This Brahman, which is the very cause or which is the very adhishtanam of Kala itself. Okay? If you remember Katopanishad, Ubecha Brahmascha Kshatrancha, I as the Kala, I swallow every jiva. And he says this Mrityu Devata, or this our temporary dying, the body dying and Sukshma Sharira traveling and coming back again, this particular so-called Yamadharma Raja's death and birth cycle, he says it is Upasechanam. That means it is something like pickle for me. Yamadharma Raja says that to Nachiketa. What am I? I am this Atman in whom even Bhagwan of death, even the Lord of death, or even the cycles of birth and death get resolved in me. When I understand who I am totally free from the cycles of birth and death. Therefore, how do you look at the Kala? Kala Shabdena Nirdishtaha. So, what is this Kala Shabdena Nirdishtaha? What is it that is suggested by this Kala Shabdaha? Akhanda Ananda Advayaha. Akhanda means what? Without any internal division. Kala has division, no? Past, present, and future. We divide it. Kala is a whole thing, it's one whole. But my mind divides it. That which I have already passed through, I say past. That which I am experiencing now, I say present. That which is yet to be experienced by me, I say future. But Kala itself really has no divisions. If that is so, I, the Atma, Kalasya Kala, I am totally Akhanda. I am the divisionless, Akhanda means that which cannot be broken into pieces, that is no internal differences or internal division. Advayaha, no external differences. There are no two things. There are no two things which can divide me. Inside, I cannot be divided. So, Akhanda means internal divisionless. Advaya means external divisionless. Ekameva advitiyam. Ekam eva advitiyam. That means I don't have a second thing to cause any bheda. I'm continuous and partless. Therefore, there is no question of dividing me. Like Kala, you say, incidentally, past, present, and future, it cannot be. And who am I? I am the completeness, Ananda Swarupa. Ekameva Advitiya Ananta Atma, Ananda Atma. So understand that Kala also has to be taken as Brahman. I can understand the difficulty that the listeners may be feeling here, that if everything is decided or described as Brahman by Adi Shankaracharya Bhagwan, then why is he dividing these things into 15, 15 Angani? Why is he talking about that? Because Bhagwan Shankaracharya wants to say that all these 15 Angas or the 8 Angas of Ashtanga Yoga are necessary initially for making a person a Jnana Yogya. But the real Nididhyasanam, when I am a Jnana Yogya and I have understood what is being told, I have to take that all these 15 Angas are not 15 different, parts of me, Brahman. All these 15 are nothing but me. They are not even parts of me, they are nothing but me. Desha is me, Kala is me, Tyaga is me, okay, Yama is me, Niyama is me, everything is me itself. Initially, I have to make these divisions till I come to this capacity to understand or abide in this Atmaswarupa. Therefore, he first names the 15 Angas, and normally what happens, we discuss what it is in Ashtanga Yoga, what is the meaning of that, and then what is the meaning given here. But here it's not relevant. May you understand that ultimately Bhagwan Shankaracharya wants us to understand that this is the process in Nididhyasanam where all these 15 components have to be taken as nothing but Brahman, not part of Brahman, not product of Brahman, not a part of Brahman, nothing. It is all these things are nothing but me, myself. And initially, I take them as something different from me, only to prepare my intellect for abiding in this Atmaswarupa. But the ultimate Nididhyasan is all these are nothing but me. So here 110 and 111 talked about what? Desham is also aham. Deshaha. I am on the Deshaha is I am not different from Desha. I am that ultimate Desha. I am the ultimate Kala. Kalasya Kala. I am the Sarvagata Atma. I am the Nitya Atma. This is something which is to be contemplated by me. Then next verse will go to 112. Sukhenaiva bhavedyasmin ajasram brahma chintanam asanam tadvijaniyat netarat sukhanashanam. So now we go to the asana. What is the meaning of asana? There are two meanings that are given for asana. In 6th chapter also we see that. Asana means that upon which something is placed. So in 6th chapter, Bhagavan says, asanam should be chailajina kushottaram. What kind of an asana it should be? Na ati uchram, na ati nicham. This asanam should not be very high also, it should not be very low also. So what is the meaning of this? Asanam is that, say like a mat or like a piece of cloth or a piece of rug or whatever it may be. It may be a wooden plank or whatever it is. even a chair that I sit upon. So anything which supports something is called asana. So that upon which I sit is also called as asanam. That is one meaning of asana. Another meaning of asanam is a particular posture of the body, where we have seen it in yoga asanam, various asanas, various kinds of postures that are followed for the sake of suppleness of the body, mind, sense complex, for making the mind very, very quiet and peaceful and contemplative. So that is another thing called as asana. Now, here, what is normally said for meditation for Nididhyasanam? Sukhasanam. There are different kinds of is the Sukhasanam, Siddhasanam. Okay, here Bhagwan Shankaracharya in these next two verses takes Sukhasanam and Siddhasanam to talk about these two asanas. Okay, now what is normally said? You sit in a comfortable position, Sukhasana. For some person, it may be Padmasana. For some person, it may be sitting on a chair. So, whatever is comfortable for you, that which does not, the body should not draw your attention because of some odd posture where the body is going through some kind of a inconvenience or discomfort. It should not be like that. So that is the sukhasanam that one should you know assume the position. One should assume one should have the asanam also, which is neither too soft nor too hard, nor that which is pricking you when you're sitting down. No, that kind of. So this is what we normally mean, when we talk about the process of Nididhyasanam. But here, Bhagwan Shankaracharya says that, what am I talking about the asanam here? The whole universe is placed in which that Maha Asanam is nothing but I, the Brahman. Mayeva sakalam jatam. Everything is projected in me. Mayi sarvam pratishtitam. That projection exists in me. Mayi sarvam layam yati. In me, that whole projection is resolved back again. Like a screen on which the movie is projected, the movie goes on, and then ultimately the movie is resolved. Who's that? I am that Brahman. And what is my Swarupam? Sukha is my Swarupam. I am the Ananda Swarupa Atma. Sukha Swarupa Atma. So he says, what do you mean by Sukhasanam? I am that asana, or I am that very adhishtanam of this entire universe, and I am of the very Swarupam of Sukha. So when you talk about Sukhasana, doesn't matter you use a good asana, use a comfortable position, but contemplate upon the fact that all these are external means, but the real asanam or the real support or the real adhishtanam for this entire universe, aham brahma asmi, and I am Sukha Swarupa Atma asmi. So when I'm abiding in my Swarupam, Sukha Swarupam, what am I? I'm abiding in my Ananda Swarupa Atma. I'm abiding in my Sukha Swarupa Adhishtanam of the entire universe. So he says, Sukhenaiva bhaved yasmin ajasram brahma chintanam. So ajasram all the time, Sukhenaiva naturally brahma chintanam. Normally so, because without any disturbance, let there be brahma chintanam or contemplation. So may you use this kind of an asana or something like that. So, but really, what is this asana? Okay, sukhena bhavet. Okay, that means what? Sukhena eva bhavet. Okay, so what it means is this Sukha Swarupa Atma, I am that Sukha Swarupa Atma, which is the very adhishtanam of this entire Anatma. Sukheneva bhavet yasmin ajasram brahma chintanam. Okay, where this Brahma, aham brahmasmi iti Sukha Swarupa Atma, when I am abiding in this Atma Swarupa, I am nothing but Purnatva Swarupa Atma. I am the Purna Atma. So, all the time, I am nothing but abiding in this Purna Swarupa Atma Ajasram Brahma Chintanam. Ajasram means uninterrupted, continuous. Chintanam means what? Abiding in my Sukha Swarupa Atma. Asanam tadvijaniya. May you know that Sukha Swarupa Adhishtana Atma you are. Why do you need another asanam? Like there is one more, this, Bhagwan Shankaracharya's verse only, a work only, in which, when I'm doing the puja, I'm calling the Devata, Ahvana, I do. I give an asanam to this Lord. So it is said, "O Lord, you are the asanam, adhishtanam of this entire universe. And I'm asking you to sit on this tiny 2 feet by 2 feet, whatever wooden plank that I have put in. I'm asking you to sit there. And I'm giving you achamanam, I'm giving you padyam, arghyam, snanam. You who are the very swarupam of purity, Shuddha Atma Tvamasi. But I am calling you, I am making you sit here. You who are everywhere in this Jagat. You are the very asanam of this Jagat, adhishtanam of this Jagat. I am calling you and making you sit here. And I am giving you water to wash your hands. We're giving you water to wash your feet. I am giving you water to have a bath. Shuddha Swarupa Atmanaha Brahmanaha. What kind of a snanam is necessary? Is it necessary? No, but that is that is my initial, something which gives me ultimately the capacity to think that puja which I'm doing to my Ishta Devata is just one small window through which I'm seeing the entirety. I'm seeing that Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta, immortal, imperishable, infinite Atma. So my initial puja only acts as one small symbolic thing to connect with that. Similarly, ultimately I have to understand that sitting in one particular place, in a particular asanam, with a particular posture, ultimately, what is it? I am wanting to contemplate upon that very asanam, adhishtanam of the entire Jagat. Asanam tadvijaniyat. May you understand yourself, the Atma, to be the real asanam. Okay? Na itarat sukha nashanam. Okay? Na itarat, no other asana, because it is going to really not give you that sukham forever. After some time, every posture becomes painful, every asana becomes uncomfortable. So may you know that asanam is nothing but you, who are the very support, the ultimate adhishtanam of this entire Jagat. So may you look upon yourself as that asanam also. That means all the limbs of contemplation, where we use them as means to attain this particular capacity for contemplation, Bhagwan Shankaracharya goes to the deepest level and says, this means is nothing but my very nature. So asanam, I am the very asanam of this Jagat. This should be my nididhyasanam. Using the asanam also as a subject of nididhyasanam. Then he says, Siddham yat sarvabhutadi vishwadhishtanam avyayam yasmin siddhas samavishtaha tadvai siddhasanam viduhu. So, Siddha Asana. Now, he is taking two of these, two asanas. He is taking Siddhasana and Sukhasana. Siddha Asana. Siddhasana means, what does it mean? Siddhi means what? Siddhi means what? Attaining something is Siddhi. Okay? Jnana Siddhi, Vidya Siddhi, Dravina or dhana siddhi. Siddhi means what? Achieving something is called as siddhi. The person who achieves that siddhi is called as a siddha. I have wanted to attain something and I have attained it. So I am the siddha who has attained a particular siddhi. Siddhi does not mean only that anima, mahima, all that. No, siddhi means a capacity to do something very, very mystical. It should not be. That is one of the names given, siddhi. But the actual meaning of siddhi is when you achieve something, when you attain something. Siddhi, prapti. It could be the most laukika one that I have attained. It's a siddhi. That is siddhi. That means prapti. That is what that I have attained something. And I have attained that, so I am the siddha. Siddha means what? The one who has attained that particular thing. So we call siddha purushas. Siddha purushas means what? Those who have attained something which we normal people will not even try for that. Manushanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. Okay. So tesham api siddhanam, even in those. So what Bhagavan said was, trying to understand my reality, my swarupam, the swarupam of this universe, the swarupam of Ishvara. Brahma Jnana Prapti is a siddhi, and the one who's a jnani, who has this jnanam and who is able to see himself, Atma Brahman, as everything, he is called as a Siddha Purusha. Okay. Now, what our scriptures say is, there is only Siddha Vastu, one Siddha Vastu. Atma is the Siddha Vastu, that which is beyond means and ends, that which is sadhana sadhya vilakshana, that which is neither a means nor an end, that which is my very swarupam, siddham. So, Brahman or Atma is called as a Siddha Vastu. And this asanam, this adhishtanam, whom I have understood as myself, this is the Siddha Asanam. That Vastu which is Siddha Vastu, that which is there already, that which will never disappear, that which has never appeared and going to disappear, that which is beyond all the vikaras, that Siddha Vastu I am, and I am the asanam or adhishtanam of this entire universe. Therefore, whether you take Sukha Asanam or Siddha Asanam, what it means is, I am the very adhishtanam of this Jagat, which is the very abode of Purnatvam or Sukham. And I am the very abode or the adhishtanam of Adhishtanam as the Siddha Vastu, the only thing which is Siddha, that which is already there, which is ever going to be there, Siddha Vastu. Okay, so if I have understood that I am not the, means ended sadhana sadhya, accruable or accumulable things, but I am that very Siddha Vastu when I understand that. And when I said I am the very Siddha established and I am the very Adhishtanam of this entire universe, this understanding, this particular person, an Nididhyasaka who understands this, is a Siddha Purusha, and this is the Siddha Asanam. So here he says, Siddham yat sarva bhutadi vishva adhishtanam avyayam. Avyayam, imperishable. Adhishtanam, that very supportless support of the entire universe. Vishva adhishtanam. Vishvasya adhishtanam, Vishva adhishtanam. Yat sarva bhutadi Vishva. The Vishwa means the entire thing where all kinds of objects and living beings, living and non-living beings exist or there or found. That is the Siddha Vastu, which is the very Adhishtanam for this entire manifest universe of names and form. Yasmin Siddhaha Samavishtaha. in which this Siddha Purusha, or the one who has understood, Samavishtaha, abiding. Siddha Vastuni, the one who is abiding in this Siddha Vastu, Aham Atma. Such a thing, Samavishtat Vishtaha, Tadvai Siddhasanam Viduhu. So this is the Siddhasana. Siddhasana means not a particular posture, though it may mean that. But then the actual Siddhasanam is that I am that Atman which is Siddhavastuhu, not something which is, you know, this, means and ends, which is got by means and ends, that which is beyond means and ends. Sadhana sadhya vilakshana siddhavastu aham atma asmi, and aham sarvasya vishwasya sarvabhutadi vishwasya adhishtanam asanam asmi iti. This understanding, this contemplation on this is what is called as the Siddha Asanam. Then next one, he talks about what is called as Mula Bandha. Bandha means there are certain processes, or there are certain areas of the body, muscles of the body, which are tightened, or which are, kept in a certain state of tension in the yogic asanas, more for the sake of creating a contemplative, silent, and quiet mind. And there are different types of these bandhas which are followed along with the asanas. With the various postures, this kind of bandhas are also followed. There are some, I think, because I'm not a authority on Ashtanga Yoga, so I cannot, I don't want to talk about it. But as far as I know, there are, I think, three types of these bandhas where, the tone of a certain area of the body is managed by certain bandhas. And Mula Bandha is one of the bandhas that is talked about in the, yoga, in the Yoga Shastra. So here, Mula Bandha is also taken as one of the angas of Nididhyasana. Now, what does he say in this 114th verse? Yanmulam sarvabhutanam, yanmulam chittabandhanam, मूलबन्धः सदा सेव्यः योग्योऽसौ rajayoginam. Okay, so he says here, what is the meaning of this Mula Bandha here from the point of view of Advaita, from the view of Atma, from the point of view of Atma? Yad Moolam Sarva Bhutana. That which is the Moolam, that which is the Karanam of all the appeared Sarva Bhutanam, of all the Jivas, entire universe, that which is the Moolam, that from which the entire universe of living and non-living being manifests. Yan Moolam Chitta Bandhanam. Yan Moolam Chitta Bandhanam. That means that in which the mind is advised to be absorbed. The mind is to be absorbed in that Karanam or Moolam of this entire Jagat. Moola Bandha Sada Sevyaha. So here, from Advaitic or Vedantic meditation point of view, or Nididhyasana, Vedantic Nididhyasana point of view, Moola Bandha is supposed to be that Moolam, which is Aham, the Atma, in which everything arises. And the mind or the intellect being completely absorbed in this Moolam is called as the Moola Bandhaha. So Moola Bandhaha Sada Sevyaha Yogaha Asau Raja Yoginam. For the Nididhyasakas, this is the yoga. Yogaha Asau. This is the yoga. What? Let the mind be always in this Moolam of the entire universe. Who am I? I am the Atma, Brahman, which is the very Adhishtanam, which is the very Moolam, that which is the cause, the primary cause, that which is the very Karanam, from which, what kind of a Karanam? Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. Vivarta Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. We have seen this in Viveka Chudamani. We have seen this in Bhagavad Gita. We have seen this in Kathopanishad. So Karanam, that is what? Nimitta Karanam, in the form of the very knowledge. Upadana Karanam, in the form of supporting the primary matter principle Maya. Abhinna, indivisible, at the same time Vivarta, not undergoing any change itself. So who am I? I am the Vivarta, Abhinna, Nimitta, Upadana, Karanam of everything. Therefore, I am the very Moolam. And abiding, the mind constantly abiding in this Moolam, in me, the Swarupam Moolam, is Moolabandham, is nothing but Moolabandham. And this is prescribed as one of the processes during the yogic practice, also for the sake of control of the mind only. All these bandhas, these three bandhas with asanas, are prescribed even by in Ashtanga Yoga for the sake of making the mind one pointed and focused. So, this mind being completely abiding in the very moolam of this jagat, this itself, this abidance itself is Moola Bandham. And according to Acharya Shankara, from the point of view of Advaita, there is no question of all these which are done at the level of the body mind. All the other yogic practices are done at the level of the body mind for attaining a certain amount of composure and quiet to make this particular instrument, body mind sense complex, jnana yogyaha. It is a practice for jnana yogyata. But here I am already a jnana yogya. I have gone through Shravanam and Mananam, and now I am in the process of Nididhyasanam for assimilating this knowledge, where I have to see every part of every anga of this Nididhyasanam as nothing but Brahma Swarupam itself. So we'll stop with this. I'm taking a little longer time because this is sometimes probably people may find, then why is he talking about 15? You can just say everything is Brahman, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, and stop it. Why is it? It's only for us to understand that for a Jnana Yogya who has done enough Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, the Nididhyasanam should be that all these angas are nothing but Brahman itself. They represent me, the very nature, my real nature of Brahman itself. नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्थाशाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ तत्सत्